the Leaders of Tomorrow, the only show right now in Indian television where you, the MSME, get center stage to voice your opinions and thoughts. This is ET Now's special daily initiative to give MSMEs and entrepreneurs the opportunity to be front and center in every industry and area that matters to you. Today on the show on Direct Connect, we have a panel of experts answering your queries, and later on the show, we will feature Rubik on our Small Giant segment. Gentlemen, it's always such a pleasure to have both of you with us here tonight, answering in all the questions that we've been getting. This is, of course, the second episode that we're having on this brand new season of the Leaders of Tomorrow, but so much of interest and excitement coming in from MSME. So then let's kick the show off with a question that's come to us from GM Shinoy.
The introduction of GST, I believe many of the old issues will be solved, but the assessment of excise, VAT, etc. takes place after 3 years, 4 years. So, all the old issues are going to linger on for a long time. I believe the government should come out with a scheme whereby all the old issues can be settled at once, so that people don't have to bother about the past baggage.
We were very briefly talking about this question in our first episode, in our inaugural episode, talking about how GST is possibly going to change the life for MSMEs. But anything that you want to add for Mr. Shinoy?
See, what is happening is that one has to understand the way in which GST is getting rolled out into the country. Now, we are moving from an indirect taxation regime which was highly complex and layered to a regime which is very, very simpler, online and seamless. In that event, obviously there will be a legacy of issues, litigations, challenges, both from the SSC side as well as from the government side, where we see that those are like deadlocks or they are standing unresolved. In those cases, the approach, if you see that the government has taken for GST overall, a lot of times in the sessions that I take on GST, people ask me that, the way you are explaining GST, it seems that it is going to be a huge revenue loss to the government. So why is it that the government ready to forego so much of revenue? So I said government is now foregoing so much of revenue one time in the interest of harmonizing all the laws in the country, and hence just taking a cue or extending that logic of the government will also come out with simpler dispute settlement mechanism of the past issues, and also government is planning to give credit for all those activities which are there legitimately due on 30th of June, so that the transition to GST becomes very, very smooth. And for that, government has time and again announced, after every meeting of GST, they have come up and given an assurance that whatever are the older issues will be settled amicably, quickly, and due credit will be provided to the deserving assessees. So I think if we approach things with that framework, we should right now focus on getting into GST and getting all the existing and future all our assessments on track, and not worry about the past issues, because past issues government itself feels that it is in its own interest to remove the baggage and then move on and start afresh. So yes, an opportunity to leave whatever was there behind and starting afresh will be made available very, very soon.
Our next question is coming to us on Twitter, and do stay tuned. At the end of this episode, we'll tell you how you can also reach us on social media to have your questions answered. Vijay Pratap has tweeted at us to say he's in the industrial chemicals manufacturing business, wants to expand it pan-India, and wants to know what some of the critical steps that he needs to take towards that should be. Mr. Dalla, let me come to you. Finance, of course. He has to put together the money before he can look at expansion. So, what else would you suggest he has to do?
Basically, if he wants to expand pan-India, he has to first know who his customers are, which are the geographies, and how he can expand. So, once he does that, like he should participate in various fairs, he should collect information from industry associations. Once he knows who his customers could be, potential customers, which geographies, and then he should pitch for his USP, because who his competitors are, what is his USP in terms of quality. His quality is better than others, his pricing is better than others, and once he does that, then he can expand. He will need finance, of course, so he has to approach the banks, and everything like marketing, finance, production. He has to focus on all the aspects.
Okay. Our next question is coming to us from Jitendra Singh. Jitendra, let's hear him out, what he has to say, and I understand he has a question on IT and automation.
We are manufacturer of steel plant machineries and equipment, as we have already digitalized. But I'm sorry that our customers who are actually using our machines in the process of steel making have not significantly moved into digitalization. Perhaps the reason is that there is no set available software off the shelf for them. Some are moving into it who are where the software is being processed. Now the cost of developing a software for individual clients is very expensive and unaffordable. I wish there was a available software. Like for engineering we have, but for process industry it is not available. If something like that with an MRP is available, I'm sure all my customers using the machine will gradually move into it, because it will give them companies extra cash rich by using and economy of spares and consumables and productivity.
We were just talking about the costs involved for expansion, and one of those costs are also, of course, the IT costs. We have spoken about this several times in our previous season, where both of you gentlemen also have reassured our viewers that they can use things like IoT, they can use cloud, for example, to bring down costs. But let's talk specifically about maybe one or two things that he can do as a manufacturer to convince his clients that, hey, you have to go digital and it's not expensive.
Now there is this machinery that he's manufacturing, and there's a software required to operate that machinery. Now there are many customized softwares which are available, but for him to promote a standard software, what he could do is he could initiate a community of people, a community of developers, and they are very easily available at very low cost on places like Fiverr.com, on places like freelancer.com. In fact, larger companies like TCS are known for using platforms like freelancer.coms, where they themselves have almost 3,000 professionals working on a project, but they hire more of 2,000 professionals from freelancer.com to add to their manpower strength. And basically developing a community software, what it does is, A, it brings down the cost for the manufacturer, B, the acceptability of it is very high because it is developed by a community of people. It could also be, an analogy could be akin to, a lot of developers developing applications for Google Play Store or Apple Store. So community development of the software is the new wave, which brings out a win-win situation for the manufacturer, because at the end of the day the software will help the machine to run, and at the same time it lowers the costs for the user. Okay. So I think this is a great way in which he can create this ecosystem. But the whole challenge is that he needs to drive it, because at the end of the day it is the machine that is produced by him.
Okay, hold that thought. We have time for one last question, and that also relates to finance and technologies. Manoj, in fact, has this question for us.
One of the questions I have is relating to technology for SMEs and what kind of schemes are out there by the government, and what schemes are available for SMEs when it comes to investments in technologies. Specifically, we are looking for protecting ourselves when it comes to ransomware attacks and other cybersecurity related issues. And is that really important for SMEs? And if so, where would you direct us in terms of the most effective investments for our firms?
Technology is so rapidly changing, and what MSME should do to keep pace with that change in technology. And now Manoj wants to know about what the government is possibly doing to encourage MSMEs to use more technology, to go digital, or even as they're talking about Digital India. What is the government specifically doing for MSMEs?
Okay. If I look at Manoj's question, he is more concerned about the security, because the ransomware, the cyberware attacks that are happening. So number one, government is giving a lot of incentives, schemes like TUFs, etc. is available for textiles. But other than that, there is this very interesting website which I came across, is called met.gov.in. That's MEITY. So if you go there, on this website, government has got 22 new projects which are focused only on IT security for MSME and businesses in India. So right from protecting your computer from cyberware, malware, ransomware attacks, to phishing, to antivirus, to making sure that your credit card transactions are secured, to making sure that all the MSMEs are able to use all possible wallets to accept payments, because going forward when we are talking about a digital economy which is completely cashless, in that era protecting your valuable money which is lying somewhere, you know, as a blip of electricity and not hard cash in your pocket. So government is very aware and is sensitive about this topic, and the only reason why common people don't come to know about this is that government usually likes to keep these projects under wraps till the time it is at a matured level.
And we're talking, of course, in the background of that entire global outage, if you can call it that, when it comes to the security threats. Let's take a quick break. When we come back on the other side on Small Giants, we'll bring you the story of Rubik, which is bridging the gap between entrepreneurs who need money and the right financial products. Do stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, and on Small Giants, we're featuring Rubik tonight. The biggest query that haunts many entrepreneurs while setting up their business is finance, and while not everyone can catch the attention of a VC or a private equity player, access to good financial products is the cornerstone to an MSME's growth. The fintech company Rubique is hoping to play Cupid for financial products and entrepreneurs. Shubhangi Sinha has more.
Solving this puzzle could be a challenge of a lifetime for me. In a similar boat are those many MSMEs who are unable to figure out the permutations and combinations of getting the right loan.
According to a study by the International Finance Corporation in 2013, the funding gap for MSMEs in emerging markets is estimated to be over $2.1 trillion. The need for a fintech company that is able to expedite the process of disbursing loans and ensuring credibility of borrowers was in fact seen as a natural progression by Manavjeet Singh of Rubique. Founded in October 2014 in the bustling city of Mumbai, Rubique aims to be the largest marketplace for financial products for MSMEs and individuals alike.
Let us start this conversation, Manavjeet, by asking you what the inspiration really was behind starting Rubique, and what was the gap that you were really trying to bridge when you first started out?
So loan as a product, we realize, is not something you can demand, because each and every financial institution is different and the risk appetites are different. What we believe, for every borrower there is a lender somewhere, but today they don't know how to discover each other. So basic objective was to start a neutral platform leveraging technology where the borrowers and lenders can discover each other.
Now the MSME and startup sector in the country is expanding gradually, and in fact there are a lot of alternative financing options which are available to these entrepreneurs. In this case, how do you think that a fintech platform like Rubique is in fact going to be relevant?
So maybe there are lenders who are looking for a particular profile. So that is where we leverage technology. So more than alternative financing, I look at how we use alternate data a lot of times to match these profiles. So I certainly believe there are a lot of financiers in the marketplace who are looking at different type of consumers. Our job here is to leverage technology and make sure that meet each other.
Now I understand that Rubique helps MSMEs and entrepreneurs find the correct match in terms of which institution is the right fit for them, for the kind of loans or the capital that they're really looking for. How does the algorithm really work? If you could walk us through the back-end working.
Certainly. So as I mentioned, finance is as a product. First of all, there will be different. It's a derived need. You're buying maybe a car or home, or you need money for your business. And when you go to your existing banker, where you have a saving account or maybe a current account, but when you want loan, they treat you like a new customer. They want all the details. They want to assess you all over again. So how you find out whether your bank will be able to provide you that loan, first of all, because they may not have all the products, or you may not be the right fit as per their risk appetite. Secondly, in case your bank is not the one, how many banks you're going to reach out to? So what we do is, like we have tied up with 66 financial institutions. We have 170 products. We made algorithms. So when you're filling the details, so essentially what the algorithm is doing is matching the lender's criteria with the borrower's requirement.
Now, when talking about dispersing loans to the SME sector, we cannot definitely ignore the fact that a lot of these SMEs have to face rejection from these institutions. So how do you think your algorithm or Rubik's unique technology is able to help them lower the rejection rate?
So what we do as a company, we bring in predictability. And what is rejection most of the time? Rejection is not because somebody is not creditworthy most of the time. What happens that they are not getting the right match. Maybe you will end up reaching out to a financial institution. For that institution, maybe you're not the right fit as per their risk appetite. So this is where I believe the technology plays a very, very important role.
So in a way then, if I'm understanding it correctly, this algorithm will be able to help customers get the capital that they're really looking at, as well as help the banks minimize on the NPAs that they see. What do you say?
I would like to believe so. The reason is that most important part, as I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, is a risk appetite. That varies from bank to bank, FI to FI. So what we are trying to do when our algorithm is sourcing the customer or getting the customer for a particular financial institution, we are trying to match the criteria of that particular financial institution. So theoretically in that sense, so the gap is minimal and you should not have that problem. Having said that, there are two elements. One is the capacity to pay, we always look at. Second, the intention to pay. The intention is something probably as we're evolving, so we're looking at a lot of data points, how we can probably gauge from that. That will take time. But I would like to believe if it starts with the right match, leveraging technology should take care of a lot of problems.
Creating a second layer of entrepreneurs through the Business Associate program at Rubique, the company is able to ensure that the customer gets an end-to-end solution for all his needs from a financial consultant who understands his concerns.
When I deal with SME people or MSME people, the main feature which I face in the market is that about the documents part, where a documents part, people want all money, people want money, they want loans, but the major part is that a lot of the people doesn't have the proper documents.
What they do is they go into where they have an account, they go into that bank, the bank show them this I need those documents, they don't have their document, bank rejected their proposal, and then we introduce ourselves in that particular scenario.
We thought we must collaborate with the ecosystem. That's why we started collaborating with the influencers. And who are our business associates? They are the influencer in the ecosystem. So we have more than currently 2,500 as of today. And that's where we get this business. What we are doing is a win-win for both of us. For them, the advantage is they're getting technology, they're getting widest range of financial products. They're getting, in fact, we provide training in-app sometimes or even classroom training in some cases. But what is critical here is how we are adding value to their life. That's something which we think of.
Now let us talk about government policies for a bit. Now there is a huge push for Digital India, and do you think that this is in fact a huge opportunity that companies like Rubique can possibly tap into?
Certainly, I believe this is a unique opportunity that has emerged. One is like from the digital push, and secondly, one is the size of the market is so big, and when everybody is changing in that market, like simple example being eKYC, right? If with that, how much time you will be saving? Digital signature, digital locker. So these small initiatives are eventually going to benefit whom? The consumer.
A lot of sectors in the country are still recovering from the impact of demonetization. What was that experience really like for you? Was it a positive impact or was it otherwise?
So first 3-4 weeks were definitely confusing for all the stakeholders when we were dealing with the financial institutions. So nobody was aware what is happening, and so 3-4 weeks virtually everything was a standstill, specifically in SMEs you've seen. And then came a time when a lot of financial institutions where we were discussing some products with them or online options with them, they came back to us. So for us, it was a very, I think, a positive kind of event, which gave us that advantage, which was not there earlier, because a whole lot of fence sitters, I must say, who were there who believed probably it'll take some time for online, they started believing.
So in a way, demonetization really helped you to provide the final push, the final nudge into all the institutions who didn't really believe in online or fintech companies. What do you say?
For us, is probably one of the most important events last year. Very positive.
Now the marketplace for fintech companies like you is becoming increasingly competitive. What do you really see as the biggest opportunities in the market going forward?
I personally believe that while the market is very large, I was reading a report a couple of days back. It's that loan is expected to be around $3 trillion market. Then you add insurance, mutual funds, so many financial products. The opportunity is very large. Market is very large. So in terms of size and what fintechs can do and how we can grow, the most important component there is the clarity. What issue you are addressing, what problem you are addressing, and how you are helping the customer, or where you are contributing to the ecosystem. So growth-wise, it's a very large market. So as long as you are clear what is going to be your take on this opportunity, I think every company will grow.
Having disbursed over 1100 crore rupees in loans so far, true to its name, Rubique has been able to tap into the gamut of permutations and combinations of finance options available and create unique solutions for MSMEs, helping many entrepreneurs realize their dreams.
That wraps up our episode tonight. Do remember that if you have any query for a panel of experts, or you are a company that wants to be featured here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, you can always get in touch with us on leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT, or tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J, or do call us on that number you see on your screen. We promise to have all your queries answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.